Kids might have ghosts and goblins on the brain right now. Perhaps the true fear of Halloween 2020. What if there is no trick-or-treating? Other questions might be plaguing them too, because we've been running a feature called Tell Me Why here on All in a Day, where if you're a kid in elementary or high school, you can send me a question about what's bugging you these days. And it can be anything. It doesn't have to be about the pandemic. It can be about something you're watching or seeing or doing in school or whatever, and you just want to know, why is it that... However you want to finish that sentence, you can send it to me, allinaday@cbc.ca. Today's question comes to us from Aylin Stacy, 11 years old, in grade 6 at Reine des Bois School. She's with us now. Hi, Aylin.
Hi.
Do you guys know what you're doing for Halloween yet?
Probably. I think we're probably going to go out and look at all the spooky houses that people have decorated, and my mom might do a little scavenger hunt and hide some candies around our area that we can find.
Okay. Are you a bit bummed about trick-or-treating?
Yeah.
Yeah. I know it's got to be stranger now. Are they doing, like, Halloween parties at your school? Are they doing those things? Are there still Halloween activities at school?
Well, we can't get together except in our class, so maybe there might be something small in our classroom, but I don't think so.
Yeah, I know they've made changes to your school this year. You when you wrote in, you were telling me about the schoolyard looks pretty different this year.
Yes.
What's different about it?
Basically, they split it into 4, and we have all the classes have different recesses. So we go out at a certain time and go out with certain other class, and then the other classes go out at different times than us, so we're not all there together. So
what is weird about that? Tell me how you feel about that sort of new separation between the classes when you're outside the class.
Well, I have lots of friends that are in different classes, so it's sad that I can't see them at recess.
Yeah. You said in your note to me that your biggest worry is getting COVID. Is that on your mind a lot when you're at school?
Not when I'm in school, but mostly at home, because schoolwork distracts me.
Yeah.
But when I'm at home, I can usually think about that.
What are you doing to avoid it at school? You've got masks on, right?
Yes.
And a lot of hand sanitizer?
Yep.
The masks leads to your question. So you had a why question for us. What was your question?
My question was, why bother putting on masks if we just take them off to drink water and eat our snacks?
Right. So the idea being, because why does that bug you? Why is that something that's on your mind right now?
I don't know. It just seems weird that we have to wear masks all the time if we're just going to end up taking them off. And then if someone coughs or something, they don't have a mask on. Right.
Because they could cough while they're eating, right? They could cough, right, or they could cough near the water fountain. Well, to answer that question, we've got epidemiologist Raywat Deonandan, here back with us again. Hi, Raywat.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing okay. So you are an expert in these things, sir. If I'm going to just take off that mask to eat and drink, isn't that just as dangerous a time to be spreading COVID?
It's a good question, and it's a complicated question, and I kind of fretted about how to answer it. But let me answer it by first explaining why we wear masks. Right? Because the doctors and nurses wear a particular kind of special mask called an N95. And that's a very dense mask that has very tight knitting around it. And that prevents viruses and bacteria and other stuff from getting through. So they wear that mask to protect themselves because they're in an environment where there's stuff floating around all the time. That's not why the rest of us wear masks. The rest of us wear masks for a different reason. We wear a piece of cloth over our nose and mouth just to slow down the air that leaves our nose and mouth. The hope is that if one of us is infected with COVID or something else, and we don't know it, And if we're wearing a mask, the droplets that leave our lungs don't go very far. They fall closer to our bodies, and they won't go the 1 or 2 meters that they usually go, and that way they won't infect somebody else. So we wear our masks to protect other people, not ourselves. We're not walking through these fogs and vapors of virus. We're just, protecting other people just in case we're infected. We probably get a tiny bit of protection from our mask, but remember that we can also get infected from our eyeballs also. And unless we're wearing goggles, your mask doesn't protect your eyeballs either. So this is not about protecting ourselves. So to answer your question, masks aren't perfect. We hope that if enough people wear them most of the time, then on average, transmission comes down because we're bound to get some people who don't know they have COVID who are prevented from spreading it because of wearing a mask. So we don't expect everyone to wear a mask all the time. We hope that most people will wear it most of the time. So if you take it off to eat or drink and you're not breathing on someone right in front of you, then that's perfectly fine. Things don't have to be perfect. They just have to be good enough most of the time. I hope that's a good enough answer for you.
Aileen, how close are you to people when you're eating lunch?
Well, the classes aren't big enough to put the desks 2 meters apart, so they might be about 1 meter apart, and we're not allowed to get up without our masks on, and we're not allowed to talk without our masks on.
Right. And so at lunch, you just stay at your desk itself and eat there?
Yeah.
Okay. And so 1 meter, Raywat, does that seem like a reasonable thing? Like even if, let's say, somebody's in the class, let's say they've got COVID, let's say they take off that mask, they're sipping on the drinking probably kids don't have drinking boxes anymore, but they're sipping from their water bottle and they're eating their sandwich and they cough. Is 1 meter okay?
Well, not if they cough. If they cough, I hope they're covering their mouth. And really, just because they cough, you're not guaranteed to get infected. But in general, 1 meter is okay. About 95% of the droplets will fall to the ground within 1 meter. And if you're a little kid, it's even less than that because your lungs aren't very big. So on average, it's going to be fine. And especially if you're not talking, because talking expels those droplets a little further as well. So regular breathing, eating, chewing, drinking, you're probably quite fine.
Aileen, you're not allowed to talk during lunch?
No, not at all.
Wow. What do you do during lunch? I mean, everybody's on break and you just sit and eat?
Well, usually my teacher puts on like a video or something so that we don't talk. But lots of people in my class do end up talking.
I was wondering if that was possible to end up completely. Are the lunchtime videos any good at least?
They're all right. I'd rather do that than, I don't know, do nothing.
Yeah. All right. So does this help? What Raywat told you? Does that make sense in terms of why they're still allowing you to take off the mask to eat and drink?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Listen, I'm hoping that things are still fun for Halloween in some way. It sounds like your mom is on top of that with that scavenger hunt anyway, and that the houses around you, are people going all out in terms of Halloween decoration around you these days?
Well, not many people on our street, but there's definitely lots of streets that people will do like full-on like cemeteries on us.
Okay. All right. Well, now that you've put it out on the radio, Aileen, I mean, I think you've kind of set the bar for the neighbors. You're saying, look, you are my Halloween entertainment. Up the decoration. So if you're going to be out there touring the neighborhood, hopefully that'll be able to they'll rise to that challenge. Thank you for the question, Aileen. Raywat, thank you for the answer. Thanks to both of you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
See you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Raywat Deonandan is an epidemiologist at University of Ottawa, answering the question of 11-year-old Aileen Stacey. And if there's a question you would like answered for Tell Me Why, if you are in high school or elementary school, write me all in a day at cbc.ca and just put Tell Me Why in the subject heading.